The crazy thing is their 4 losses are to teams with a combined record of only 5 losses. They've lost to the Lions twice, the Eagles once, and the Vikings.
Yep.
The Vikings only got 2 losses, the Lions only got 1 loss, and the Eagles got 2 losses. So their losses are good. However, James, their losses, they got good losses, but they still got losses, James. Hey, have you lost Super Bowl faith in the Packers? Here's why I asked that. In order to get to the Super Bowl, you've been to 1, you've won 1. I think, E, you've been to 3, if I'm not mistaken. You've won 1. Shady, you've been to 2, you've won 2. So y'all know it up here. In order to get to the Super Bowl, they're likely going to have to beat the Vikings, the Eagles, and or the Lions. You got to beat all 3 of them, at least 2 of them. They've lost to them all, and 1 of them twice. Is your Super Bowl faith, James, your Super Bowl faith, is it lost in the Packers?
Watching that game last night, no. Watching that game last night, I feel like the Packers can compete with any team in the National Football League. Now, yesterday I said the way the Packers win this game, they have to start fast. They should have took the football and they should have went down there and tried to score to go up on the Detroit Lions to make them truly, truly one-dimensional. They didn't. You had 3 completions in the first half. You went into halftime down 10.
Come on, man.
Right? We did not get Josh Jacobs going in that game until the very last drive before the first half, and we went down the football field and scored a touchdown. But watching that football game, we dominated the trenches on both sides of the football. I didn't come out of that game like, dang, the Detroit Lions, we don't want to see them again. No, I came out of that game, if we see the Detroit Lions again, this game could go either way. I believe the Packers are still a really good football team. Have they lost to some good football teams? Sure, but I still think this team could go out here and compete for a Super Bowl with what they have. You get Jair back, you get your best receiver back in Romeo Doubs, I believe they will be just fine. But I did not walk out of that game like, man, we shouldn't be on the field with Detroit. I did feel like that when they came to Lambeau. The game was closer than it should have been in Lambeau. They dominated us in Lambeau. I didn't feel like that yesterday.
You lost twice to them, though. I mean, like, you're in the same division. We beat you at home and at our house. Like,
whoop them twice a year, too. So what you talking about, Shady?
Yo, my man.
Take it easy.
Man, relax now, man. Kudos to the Lions, dog.
Good morning, Frank. Good morning. It's love.
You know
all I'm saying is, like, I still think they could go to the Super Bowl because they got that type of talent. And with them, they turn it off and on. Right? First half, they couldn't find it. Second half, they start rolling. I said the biggest part of this game is going to be Josh Jacobs getting 25 touches. Did he get it? Nope. He didn't get it, and they didn't win. They got to go through him. And it's okay, because my thing is, if the running game ain't working, he can throw the ball, because Jordan Love is nice. But the best offensive weapon they got is Jacobs. I think if they can go through them, they can potentially get there. But they did lose to the Lions twice. So don't act like that didn't happen.
Yeah, and for me, I haven't lost faith in him, man. I like Jordan Love. Right? I really do like this. I like the way he plays the quarterback position. I don't like that he only threw 28 passes last night or something like that. But maybe it's because they weren't on the field, because they weren't hitting Josh Jacobs as well, you know? But this Packers team is a good team, dog.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy watching them play. I think they got a young receiving core.
Yes, they
I
do.
think they're going to be a wild card team. And if they get in the playoffs, if they get hot, I think they can shock some teams.
I agree with that. I agree with everything y'all saying, but I've definitely lost Super Bowl faith. I'll be honest. There's some perks to being a backup in the NFL. Hi, backup. Like, y'all all starters. The problem with being a starter is sometimes you're too far in the forest to see the trees. You focused on winning your route. You focused on winning the game. Shady focused on being the rushing leader. James focused on winning Super Bowls, leading the league in receiving touchdowns. I'm watching both teams. I'm scouting because I'm like, yo, are we actually going to win this game? As a backup, you don't have to be as eagerly invested in your numbers because you're probably not going to play. I say that to say, I have the ability to realize, the Packers are a good team. They're not a Super Bowl team. It reminds me of the team I played with in Philadelphia with Shady in 2013. We were a good team, but I knew there were levels to this. We were a good team. We won 7 in a row. We went 7-1 with Nick Foles at the helm. Nick Foles had 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. We finished the year 10-6. Vic started 3-5. Foles went in. We were a good team. But because I was a backup, I was able to say, you know what? Shady's cold. Macklin's cold. Jack is cold. Vic is cold. But you know who else is cold? Earl Thomas, he's pretty good. Cam Chancellor, he's pretty good. Marshawn Lynch, he's pretty good. Richard Sherman, he happens to be okay. Bobby Wagner, he's pretty good. So if we see them, though we're good and though we're competitive, we're not that good.
Right.
I can say that. Shady couldn't say that because Shady probably thinks, we can beat anybody on any given Sunday,
Give me the
as he
ball.
should.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer. But I'm scouting everybody because I got extra time on my hands. I got to watch the Seahawks. I got to watch the Eagles. I got to watch the Cowboys. So, James, I say that to say the Packers are good.
Yeah.
But they're not Lions good. They're not Eagles good. They're good, though.
Really quick.
Right.
Watching that game last night, that's what you took out of that game?
1,000%. Because when I think about it like this.
That's a banged up Lions defense.
And James, remember, though.
It's a lot of dudes running free in our secondary, too, because we missing some
Remember, though,
plays.
Jay, the Lions spotted the Packers because of Dan Campbell's ignorant 7 points at minimum, right? And say they didn't spot it to him.
That's how
At
the
least
Lions-
punt the ball.
That's how the Lions played all
But
year.
they don't usually go for it on their own 30. I respect going for it all the other time, sure. Do what you want on
I own
30.
that.
But when you go for it on your own 30, James, to me, that's a little wild. When I watched the game, clearly the Lions were better. The Packers are good. No doubt about it. The Packers are
They
good.
won, so that was better.
Clearly they are better. Like when we played, Shady, I don't know if you remember, it was 2014, the year after we went to the playoffs. It was 2014. We had to play the Cowboys, Seahawks, Cowboys, back-to-back weeks. That was when Jenkins got in a fight with Des Bryant before the game. We were good.
Yeah.
The Cowboys were better. Now, we were good enough to make it competitive. But the Cowboys had Zach Martin in their prime, Tyron Smith in their prime, DeMarco Murray was in his prime, Des Bryant was in his prime, Tony Romo was in his prime. We were good, so James, it was going to look close. But if you really look at it, they was going to beat us. The Packers are good. They're not beating the Eagles. Eagles only won by 5. It looked close, but they're not beating the Eagles. It looks close. They're not beating the Lions.
I disagree. I disagree with you, and I can't disagree with you more.
You're 0-2. Your house, their house. Outside,
They beat us this year. It's a lot of teams that beat us our Super Bowl year. And when we got in the playoffs, we beat all them teams. And went to their house. And went to the Falcons' house when they was 13-3 with Matt Ryan on the MVP season and beat them by 20-plus points. And then we went to Chicago and beat them. And then we went to the Super Bowl and won that.
Right.
The Packers have a lot of talent on their football team. That game was a one-score football game. It came down to a fourth
What you tell me
down
yesterday, James,
conversion.
the majority of NFL games, you said
No
90%,
doubt.
58%.
But
58% of games come down to one
And
score.
that is very true. And that's why coming out of that game, I'm not coming out of that game like, dang, if we see Detroit again, we can't beat them. Or if we see the Eagles again, we can't beat them. The
course
Packers
you
can beat
can.
any
Of
team
course
in them
you
playoffs.
can.
Given Sunday.
You can.
So-
but do you think they would? Of course you can. The Packers can beat them.
anybody
But
can
do you
beat
think
them.
the Packers can do this? After seeing them lose, you really think the Packers can, say first round they match up against the Eagles? Got to beat them.
Be a good
Then
game.
say second round, say the Vikings upset the Falcons.
really
So
good
say the second round, you got to see the Vikings. Then say the last round, you
confident
got to
in
see the
that.
Lions. You really think the Packers can beat Detroit, then beat the Vikings, then beat the Eagles, then go to the Super Bowl and beat Pat?
This a get back tour now. Like, knock it
Revenge
off.
tour.
Seriously, yo.
Revenge tour.
Yo, they beats gonna beat them again.
Revenge tour.
That's the same for every team.
but James, seriously,
that's the same for every team. The Eagles got to do that same thing.
Here's the thing.
Bro, had a-
What did I say has to happen when you win a Super Bowl,
Y'all
right?
are
A
so-
little bit of luck.
A little bit of luck. All right? Y'all need a lot of luck, James.
A lot?
A lot. To go
Yo,
on the
and
road, to go on the road.
And James,
We got a really good
if that happens, if the Packers go on the road to be all those seasons win the Super Bowl, man, that would be phenomenal.
I just
don't see that
I
happen.
just want to
Season
know,
ain't over yet.
and I'm being serious,
Yeah.
right? Because I know you play with Packers and all that, but like you work for Fox now, all right? So you need to be serious and honest. What gives you so much confidence that you guys just beat these teams?
We got a really good quarterback.
They do too.
We got a really good running game.
They do too. Those teams. The teams
And
do
that's
too.
all good.
They do.
So we can beat them.
is that it?
When
Just
we
those two
played
games?
all these good teams, it's not like they just beat us down. They're close
all I'm
football
saying is
games.
Every
dog.
time we have a big heavyweight fight, right, that's on pay-per-view, everybody's watching, prime time, we lose. And we fight everybody else that's not on pay-per-view, we win. So all the top teams in the NFC, you got the Vikings,
Yep.
who's right at the bottom, and you lost to them.
Lost to them.
The Eagles,
Lost to them. In Brazil, another country.
you lost to them when everybody was healthy. And then you play the Lions twice. You can't beat them like once.
So in the NFC, we saying only the Lions and the Eagles are Super Bowl teams.
I'm just saying, like,
No,
where's
hold
the
on.
but you answer, where's the confidence?
I'm asking
I
the
would,
question.
I would say yes, of course. Yes. It's levels.
And you're telling me that you do not think the Green Bay Packers can beat those teams, and they lost to them by one score.
You don't think so.
Why wouldn't I think so? We have the
haven't-
talent,
you haven't seen
and
it
we
yet.
have the quarterback,
You haven't-
and we have the coach. What you
This
mean?
ain't like
go on the
Jesus,
road.
dog, where you can believe something you ain't see.
You gotta go on the road.
You haven't seen it yet.
Dog.
Gotta go on the road and run the
Come on, man,
table.
you ain't been in the Bible and like, come on, man,
He
stop
ain't been in
playing.
he ain't been in his
Oh,
Bible.
wow.
He ain't been in his Bible, bro.
Talk about believing him. You ain't even see it yet. She gonna change.
I think you believe it because you did it before.
Hey, she gonna
Y'all-
say, James. Hey,
crazy
no,
thing,
she
Jay.
gonna stop
believe it
cheating on the
because
league
I'm
one
looking
day.
at a really good Green Bay Packers team. It's not like I'm looking at a Carolina Panthers team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
it's a lot of
There's levels to everything.
Real quick,
not a lot of
personalize this, because this might be the most interesting thing, and I can't let y'all go without saying this note. Your last 3 years in Green Bay. This was fascinating. James's last 3 years in Green Bay, Shady, he lost in the playoffs to teams he lost in the regular season. In 12, you lost to the Niners. You lost to them in the regular season. In 2013, you lost to the Niners in the playoffs. You lost to them in the regular season.
really good team.
In 2015, you lost to the Niners in the playoffs. You lost to them in the regular season. What happened?
So
the Niners beat us 3 years.
You looking funny in the light right now. Everything you said, they got
Cardinals in 15, Niners in 13, Niners in 12. So you quite literally have lived the Green Bay Packers experience.
So explain that.
So explain to me how you can live something 12, 13, and 15, and you think it's going to be
And if
different.
we play them all tomorrow, I think we're going to win that game because we have that type of
he just talking.
They beat us.
He just talking.
They beat us.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.